For more on this, let's bring in the Law Society of South Africa. Its president, Nkosana Mvundlela, joins us this morning. It's great to talk to you, Nkosana. It's shocking, this incident, but perhaps what is the most worrying thing about how it unfolded, that these two assailants went to Bouwer van Niekerk's office under the pretense of having an appointment, shows just the brazenness of it all.
Thanks, Michelle, and good morning to your viewers. It is very disturbing and quite shocking. Perhaps the best way to start is to send our sincere condolences as the Law Society of South Africa to his family and all the colleagues he works with in the office, and to the legal fraternity at large, including particularly those that are working with him in the insolvency practice space. It is very disturbing to imagine how lawyers then people can then become attacked in the space where they are providing a service. And that service is exactly what people pretended to be going to receive. If we are now going to have everybody that has gone to school to obtain qualifications in order to service the public in certain professions being attacked in this manner, in this callous manner, it is then something that as a society we must be able to deal with. I do not think that it would be about police, it would be about the minister. It's about the moral decay of society to the extent that we actually then are attacking people who are just doing their job. I want to send this clear message, Michelle, and this is what the public must understand. Lawyers are just doing a job on the basis of an instruction. Lawyers don't have cases. Lawyers don't develop cases. Lawyers get instructions from their clients and they act in the ambit of the law as prescribed in South Africa. So there is no reason to believe that a lawyer is actually the cause of your complaint or the cause of your pain. Therefore, there is no justification at all. Why should anybody feel that they must go and callously kill a person who is doing a job? More saddening is the fact that they go attack him in his office. We had a similar incident, Michelle, maybe just to jog the public's memory without wasting time. We had a similar event of a lawyer who was also killed in Mokopane recently, if I recall very well, and he was shot brazenly in his house when he was just arriving from work. And then you ask yourself, how many more must die for the public to understand that lawyers don't have cases? Cases are about clients. And that is exactly what we call upon. We call upon authorities to catch the assailants, to make sure that they face the might of the law, and they must leave no stone unturned in investigating this kind of cases. It doesn't matter what kind of case you handle. You are just a lawyer. You are there to make sure that someone's rights are protected, and it is not to carry the case as if it's yours.
Do you get a sense, Nkosana, that there's a clear message, at least an attempt at a clear message to be sent to people in the legal fraternity, particularly insofar as cases around, alleged Ponzi schemes, high-profile financial crimes, that this is a clear message that we can find you wherever you are, even in the boardroom of your law firm?
It probably is. What it actually reflects, Michelle, beyond how you describe it, is that criminals are sending a clear message that South Africa is on a downward spiral within the context of how society views our legal system and the laws of the country. Because if people are to wake up and say, we will even create an opportunity for us to actually find him, even if he was to improve his security, for all intents and purposes, it tells you of the brazen nature of how the corrupt, how the criminal world has actually gotten a hold on the legal system and on the entire safety system of South Africa, such that they can easily just come to wherever you are, whether it's your house, whether it's your office, whether you are in the mall. It means that lawyers everywhere are not going to be safe because people are going to just know that, okay, they live like normal human beings. And unfortunately, Mr. Van Niekerk woke up believing that he's going to see a client. And that's what we all do. We wake up believing we're going to see a client. And if this person pretends to be your client and comes with a firearm and kills you, there is no measure of protection that you can imagine that would have prevented this kind of a callous act. Because when people call me to say, we want to give you instruction, I would not first assess who are they, where do they come from, what do they do, have they been clients of other lawyers, and all these things. You start to assess those things in terms of FIC regulations only when you sit in your office and receive instruction. So you don't even know that you are actually meeting a brazen criminal whose job is to come and eliminate you.
Yeah, certainly. It's chilling. And I wonder whether the impact of this incident with Bouwer van Niekerk and his murder will mean that other lawyers might turn down such cases in the future.
Yes, you see, it's going to send a chilling effect to those that are supposed to assist clients in that space, because we're all going to be extra cautious now about when you are dealing with a client who is a high-profile client, complaining perhaps about a deal that may have gone wrong, because then all of a sudden you actually become part of the problems that the other party may have raised with the former partner, or in whatever circumstances that you receive that instruction. So it is going to actually send a warning to lawyers to say, you must be able to think very hard before you receive any instruction. The question becomes, how best then are we going to assist our clients without fear or favor, and for the protection of the rule of law, because that's all that we do. We protect the rights of our clients for the protection of the rule of law. And we don't own these cases. So I can only hope that the police and the security cluster gets to these criminals as soon as possible, and they remain criminals in the words of the Law Society. They must be apprehended. They must face the might of the law. We must be able to see the law taking its course and sending a chilling message to these criminals that you are not going to do as you see fit. It may be a reflection of how deep-rooted the criminal world is in South Africa, and somebody must do something about it. We can only hope that the commission will help somewhat uncover some of how deeply seated this corruption and criminality is sitting across the board, including either in the police, influence, and all those things, including in the private sector, because the Ponzi schemes and all those things are private sector business that deals with individuals amongst themselves, agreements, and so forth. And when lawyers are killed for doing just that job, and not necessarily for defending any criminal in court, then it tells you that there is something wrong with how we understand the law to function. Lawyers are not their cases, so they don't have to be eliminated for representing one side of the story.
Really a shocking story still, and I think the legal fraternity will be reeling for some time. Hopefully there will be steps taken now at these law firms, Nkosana, because how does someone get into a building with a firearm? That's the other question, I suppose, that we're also asking.
But Michelle, and I get where you come from. The question becomes 30%, if not 50% of our law firms are small law firms. And the Law Society has a record of that. Small law firms that are not going to afford to hire a security company to come and stand guard at the door, search people before they enter buildings, have metal detectors at the door, step, and so forth. So to that extent, that's why we as lawyers, we have always believed that as long as society understands our role, then society would not, members of society would not come to our law firms with firearms and all these things because there is no need for it. In our offices, we deal with books, we deal with how the law is written. So to that extent, it is going to require that in dealing with some of these high profile cases, yes, I agree with you. There may be a need that where the law firm itself is positioned in such a manner that it is receiving high profile cases, it may have to actually, they may have to actually put measures in place to ensure that their staff and their property is protected. And to that extent, we can only hope that that measure will deter would-be murderers to get into those kind of buildings. But yes, the security issue is now a very serious issue. If you see how I'm told, I hear in the news now as you were reading that the deputy minister is visiting Western Cape to go and assess the security measures outside of the Wembe court. Outside of court, what more can anybody do to ensure that a person standing outside is not having a firearm? So that's why I'm saying this goes to the moral decay of society, to the misunderstanding of society of how easy it is to actually follow the law and get a resolution without killing somebody. Because when you are before courts, you have a right to be heard, you have a right to put your side of the story, and people have to listen to you and take a decision whether your story is plausible and right and must be upheld or dismissed. Its dismissal does not mean your death. It only means you have an opportunity to appeal. Now, those that eliminate other people may as well be the more guilty because they know very well that their story in court would not pass the muster. Therefore, they must eliminate witnesses, they must eliminate lawyers, they must eliminate prosecutors. It tells you that there is just a moral decay of society, there is just a misunderstanding of the role of the rule of law, and if there is an understanding of that rule of law,